Dawn hadn't even arrived, but the sky was already awake. On June 30th, 1908, deep in the Siberian wilderness, thousands of people saw something impossible cross the heavens, a streak of blinding light tearing through the sky, so bright that some later swore it was like the sun falling from its place. And then silence, a heavy, unnatural silence, the kind that feels like the air itself is holding its breath. No one living in that remote region imagined that within minutes, the greatest explosion in recorded human history would erupt above them, an explosion so violent it would flatten more than 80 million trees, so powerful it would shake the ground across continents, so mysterious that more than a century later, scientists still can't agree on what truly happened. This is the story of the Tunguska Event, the morning when the sky split in half. The blast struck at around 7:17 a.m., but for many, the day began with fear long before the explosion. Villagers along the Podkamenia Tunguska River watched as a ball of blazing fire traveled across the sky. Some dropped to their knees, praying. Others ran outside to stare upward, blinded by the light. Herds of reindeer fled in panic. Dogs howled uncontrollably. Even the birds stopped singing. And then, over the horizon, came the shockwave. Not one, but two. The first blast shattered windows hundreds of kilometers away. The second one followed like a giant invisible hammer striking the earth. Witnesses described the sky, opening like burning cloth. A flash so bright it cast shadows in the opposite direction of the rising sun. The heat was so intense that wooden houses lit on fire instantly. Forests burst into flames. Trees were uprooted as if plucked by God's hand. Some people were thrown several meters into the air. Others were knocked unconscious. But the true devastation occurred far beyond reach of any eyewitness. In the heart of the taiga, where no towns existed and almost no humans lived, the shockwave flattened an area of more than 2,000 square kilometers. 80 million trees lay in a perfect radial pattern, like matchsticks pointing outward from a single, invisible source. And at the very center, something strange. The trees that were not blown away. They were standing, scorched, stripped of their branches, as if exposed to a blast from directly above. No crater, no impact hole, no debris, just a circle of silent, burned trees and an unanswered question. What exactly had exploded in the sky that morning? For decades, scientists tried to reach the site, but the region was so remote and Russia so unstable that no expedition arrived until 1927. By then, years had passed. Forests had begun to grow again. The scars of the blast were fading. But when Soviet scientist Leonid Kulik first saw the devastation, he was stunned. He expected to find a massive crater. He expected to find fragments of a meteorite. He expected to find something. Instead, he found only silence, burned trunks, flattened trees stretching to the horizon, the faint smell of resin and old ash, and absolutely no trace of the object that caused the explosion. It made no sense. Explosions require detonators. Crashes require debris. Impacts require craters. But Tunguska had none. Kulik searched for years, convinced a meteorite had buried itself underground. He dug trenches, drilled into the earth, analyzed soil samples. All he found was peat and shattered vegetation. No iron, no rock, no fragments, nothing. So new theories emerged. Some bizarre, some scientific, all incomplete. One theory suggested a comet made mostly of ice evaporated in the atmosphere before impact, but comets travel slower and usually leave chemical markers. Tunguska didn't. Another theory said it was a stony asteroid that disintegrated midair, but disintegration of that size should scatter fragments over a wide area. Tunguska had no fragments. A more exotic idea proposed a miniature black hole passing through Earth, entering Siberia and exiting somewhere in the Atlantic. But the physics behind that would have caused global devastation, not a single explosion. Others whispered about antimatter collisions, alien spacecraft, or weapons tests before their time. But reality is stranger than fiction. Modern research suggests the object may have entered the atmosphere at an incredibly shallow angle, disintegrating completely before reaching the ground. The detonation, occurring 5 to 10 kilometers above the surface, released the energy of a 15-megaton bomb, 1,000 times more powerful than Hiroshima. A bomb that no human created. A bomb that no human could have stopped. Still, the mystery remains. Why no debris? Why no crater? Why such a perfect radial blast zone? In 2007, Italian researchers found tiny silicate spheres in the soil, suggesting maybe finally fragments of Tunguska object. But the evidence is sparse, uncertain, controversial. More than a century after the explosion, scientists know more about the event, and yet not enough. And perhaps the most unsettling discovery came much later, when astronomers calculated how often objects of this size enter Earth's atmosphere. Not once every 10,000 years, not once every 1,000, but roughly once every few centuries. Meaning, Tunguska was not a freak accident. It was part of the cycle, a reminder, a warning. If the object had arrived just a few hours later, it would have exploded above St. Petersburg, one of the largest cities in Europe at the time. Millions would have died. History would have changed forever. And today, with billions of people, networks, grids, satellites, and cities, a Tunguska-sized explosion over the wrong location would destroy everything beneath it in seconds. Not from fire, not from impact, but from the air itself turning into a weapon. A silent, invisible detonation from an object no larger than a building. The Tunguska event wasn't just an explosion. It was a glimpse into Earth's future, a reminder that the cosmos is not empty and that we are not protected from what moves through it. In the Siberian wilderness, the trees eventually grew back. The scars faded. The story became a myth for some, a curiosity for others. But the sky still holds secrets. Objects still travel toward us. And somewhere out there, right now, a piece of rock or ice is crossing the void toward our planet. Unseen, unknown, on a path we have not yet discovered. The night the sky split in half was not the last time it will happen. It was only the beginning.